Joining me on the program now from Porirua, Wayne and Tina Francis, who have developed and run a divorce care program in their church community. Guys, kia ora, good morning. Thanks for your time today.
Kia ora.
Good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, lovely to be here.
Firstly, I mean, this is an obvious need within the community, but I think, to be fair, not one that the church has done well with in the past. What led you guys to the decision to say, hey, this is an area that we need to be focused on in terms of ministry to the local community?
Well, Andrew, as Christians, we obviously believed in the sanctity of marriage and that it's a God-given gift. But we also recognize that in the world that we live in, not every marriage succeeds, and that they do fail, and that includes Christian and non-Christian marriages.
Yeah.
So we've started using a course based in America or designed in America. So it's not something we've developed organically here. And that's enabled us to, over a series of years now, to have courses that are, each course is 13 weeks long. And we walk through a journey with participants, actually looking at the grief and the anger and the frustration of separation and how they can unpack each one of those stages and ideally have a deeper relationship with a loving God at the end of it, but also have sorted through a lot of their own grief, for want of a better word, because, losing your relationship is you've just lost your partner, really.
Yeah. I was going to ask Tina, perhaps you on this one. What is, even in this tragic situation, what is a good outcome for somebody in this course? They start involved in this process with a broken heart and broken dreams. But what's a good outcome at the end of the process?
Well, this is very much an individual thing, of course, but a good outcome could be as something as simple as being able to be in the same room with your ex and actually have a civil conversation. So you've moved from a place where you couldn't even envisage seeing this person again and being able to share a space with them. And the course gives you the tools and the techniques underpinned by biblical teaching to actually get to a point where you realize you can be in the same room and you can have a relationship with this person, different obviously to how it was. So that could be success for someone. I had a text from someone who had done the course, just saying that they were having their first grandchild, and she had been in a place where they could not have envisaged having much of a civil relationship. And she is able to say, we can be united in the joy of our first grandchild coming along. So she had actually got to that place where she could actually make that a reality.
Wow.
And that not been the case when the course started.
It is so important there, I suppose, looking for hope even in brokenness and saying, okay, this is not the ideal outcome, but how can we find hope in this space as well? This is how many years have you guys been running this now?
It's several years, about 6 years.
6 years, I
think. 6 years.
Yeah.
Are you guys surprised at the response, at the need within your community?
No.
Unfortunately, I'd have to say no. Gosh, I'm the child of a broken marriage. We've each had broken marriages. Therefore, separation and divorce are actually about only 50% less commonplace than marriages.
Wow.
So, there's a fairly high rate of dissolution. Therefore, I think there's an ever-increasing need for a course like this. Because, a lot of churches seem to run marriage courses and counsel people about how to get married and what you need to be doing. But very few churches, in fact, we're only aware of one other in the country, that actually runs a divorce care course.
Yeah.
And I think that the critical word in there is care.
Yeah.
It's not a course about getting divorced. It's a course about caring for yourself and caring for others in that situation.
Part of the problem in this space, I think, and this is certainly my own perception on it, is the way in which churches respond to couples who are separated or divorced. It is a difficult season anyway. Let's add to that a dose of spiritual guilt and judgmentalism, and people think they've failed. And yes, it can get complicated, particularly if both members of the couple go to the same church. There's issues to work through. But
Yes.
I suppose my concern is that as a Christian community, we're not responding well to people who are going through this difficult time.
No, that's absolutely right. And I think that, we in a way, we prefer not to think about the fact that Christian marriages do fail. But what we certainly see is that a couple could be married for 30 plus years, and they're both Christians, and suddenly one wants out. And that leaves them in an absolutely bereft state. And as you just said, it often means one person will think like they have to find a new church at that point. And I think that because we don't really talk about it widely in the Christian community, we're not equipped to cope with it. So we may just not know what to say to this person. We're used to them being a couple. We can judge very quickly. We tend to judge, and that is completely unhelpful.
Or take sides, or feel like you're caught in the middle of an argument, and all those sorts of things. Yeah,
that's right. It's just what we naturally do as humans, isn't it? We do take sides, and I think that we do need to learn to actually step back and say, this is a person who is highly emotionally distressed. They're in a process of huge change. People feel like the rug has literally been ripped out from under their feet. Their world is turned upside down. They often did not see this coming at all.
Yeah.
And in the church, what we need to do is to say, this person is wounded. We need to gather round. We need to provide all the support. Ask them, what do you need? What can we do for you? Rather than judge. And, so if we see someone on the side of the road who is physically hurt, we don't usually sort of start a question and answer session on how did you get here, and do you deserve to be there? No, we don't want to act that way, do we? So this is emotional harm, and we can help. We just need to be there. Listen, we don't need to fix them. We just need to be there for them.
We just need to support them.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for what you do. This is certainly a vital and important ministry. And tragically, as you say, not many churches around New Zealand involved with this. You have been involved for 6 years, and another session coming up a little bit later this year, another 13-week program. You talked about how there's people from churches and also people without faith who are involved with this. Is it surprising, actually, that people who are going through divorce would look to the church for support in that space? Have you been surprised at some of the reactions and responses?
I think the answer to that is no. I'm not surprised by it. And the reason for that is, I think if people look within the secular world, as it were, there's nothing either. To my knowledge, it's very difficult to actually get a support group for recently divorced or not so recently divorced or separated people that actually is about caring and sharing and walking on a journey with you, as opposed to getting together with a couple of mates who've been in that situation, having a good old niggle on a Friday. Now, there's certainly a space for that. But I think what this course is designed to do is to take you on a journey of healing.
Yeah. Is there a spiritual component to the work, the program that you do? I know, it is church-based, but is there I suppose, a recognition of a spiritual brokenness and a spiritual solution to what people are going through?
Absolutely. So we know as Christians that the Bible contains so much wisdom. And what I absolutely love about this course is that it is an amazing mix of practical and spiritual. So let's just take anger, for example. We know how destructive that can be and how easily we can fall into it, especially if we have a propensity in that regard. So the Bible, the course will take a deep dive into a subject like that and actually say, how can you manage it? So it gives you tools and techniques for managing it. And so you develop this awareness. I am getting angry.
Yeah.
What are my triggers? And then it's all underpinned with biblical wisdom. So there are scriptures that talk about anger, how to manage anger. So it's this wonderful blend of practicality and spiritual. If people are doing the course and they have no faith or a different faith, what they will get then is a great amount of wisdom and practicality. So they won't feel like they're being whacked over the head by the biblical teaching.
Exactly.
It's there. It underpins everything because it's healing and it's truthful.
Guys, this is such vital work that you're doing, and it is perhaps shocking that there isn't more of this available in New Zealand. We're just about out of time before I need to get the news on, but just finally in this regard, for people in the Wellington area, I know you've got another course coming up shortly, details on how they can find out more, but also for perhaps people listening in different parts of the country that are saying, gosh, we so need this in our community as well. Is that also something you can help point people in the right direction with?
Absolutely, yes. So, we'd love to talk about this course to anyone in any aspect. So people can go straight to the American website, divorcecare.org. They can come through our church, theanchorchurch.org.nz. And that will open up access to the material and to find someone to contact to have a chat about it. Our next course does start on Saturday, the 2nd of August, 4 to 6 p.m. But if people cannot physically get there, which is certainly an issue, we can talk about remote access to the material. We would rather give people access than no access at all if they can't attend in person.
Very good. And again, thank you for the work that you do. That web address for your church, once again, if people wanted to connect and find out more about the course coming up in August, what's the address once again?
It is theanchorchurch.org.nz or to the Divorce Care website, divorcecare.org.
Thank you so much again for your ministry. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us, Andrew.
Yeah, thank
Great.
you, Andrew.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.